Hey, what's going on guys? Welcome back to Bring You the Vision video. What if I guess today is the most underrated build in my opinion. First of all, if you guys are looking for a build to use instead of Nomad, Predmark, Defense, anything like that, even Banshee in PvP, this is the video for you. If you guys didn't know, I actually used this build before when 1.8.3 first came out, and I actually really liked it. A lot of you guys really enjoyed that video as well. It was a live gameplay of me just pretty much going in last stand. And using this build, I was absolutely shredding people, so if you guys want to check that out, I will have a link in the description you guys can check out. Once again, it's about 15-16 minutes long of just pure PvP gameplay and a live commentary. But I realized I never really made a full build video of this, and I kind of changed it up for this patch. I'm using something I normally don't use, and I want to show you guys the build video. As I said, if you want to use something a little bit different, kind of off meta, this build is for you. So what I'm talking about is this. Now yes, this is a high-end / exotic build. If you guys played the game back in 1.6, 1.7 even, you guys know how overpowered this build was, how good it was. At this time, with the Nomad, with the Pred and Defense meta kind of going on, in my opinion, this build is kind of getting overlooked, and it's still very, very good. If you want to use this for last stand or skirmish, you can go ahead and use this and dominate. For the Dark Zone, you have to use this with a little bit more skill power in my opinion, so your heals and your skills are a little bit better, but still, if you use this, if you play right, if you use your surroundings, and if you're playing with a teammate or even by yourself, this build can get you some kills. So without further ado, let's get right into the details of the build, and the first thing I am using is the house. Honestly, in 2018 on the Division, if you don't have the house on the consoles, you are in a disadvantage in my mind. On PC, you can get away with using Lightweight 4 or LBAC, but on consoles, you do need a house. If you don't have it, try out the AUG, try out the Navy MP5N, but if you have this weapon, 100% use it with this build. Really quickly, for anyone wondering how do you get the house really fast and really easy, the way I got all of mine, and as you guys can see I have a bunch of them, I was actually grinding Resistance, Underground, and Legendary missions. That's the 3 ways I would recommend 100% kind of going for the house. If you don't have it, if you're new, coming back to the game, try out those 3 methods and see if they help you out. For the talents, I'm using Deadly, Unforgiving, and Exotic hard counter talents. The one thing is, with this build, I would not really recommend using Unforgiving. Unforgiving is really good for like a Nomad build or something with like a 9k stamina build. For this build, Unforgiving, it's not the best. You can get away with using it, but I would recommend having Responsive Deadly, or even something like Responsive and Vicious. It just really depends on you. For the weapon mods, I'm using everything with critical hit chance, critical hit damage as always. That is pretty much the standard, weapon mods for every single gun in the game. For the gear mods, I'm using everything with firearms and skill haze, and I'm also using 6% first aid self-heal mods. With this build, you do want to spec a lot into skill haze because the way the build is set up and the way you kind of want to run this is with a lot of skill haze, so you can get your booster shot and your immune station quick, or if you're using a pulse, you can use that and get it back really quickly. So yeah, that's pretty much how you always ran this build. That's how I'm kind of keeping it in 1.8.3, and as I said, I really like it with a lot of skill haze. You can go into critical hit chance, but once again, that's kind of taking away the skill haze, and the way you get your skills is kind of important, at least with this build. Moving on to the actual gear, so the first thing we're looking at is a Barrett Bulletproof Vest. What I'm using on it is firearms, skill haze, health, and increased skill XP. Honestly, with this chest piece, I do think it's a little bit better to use instead of a vigorous chest piece. As you guys can see, I don't really have that much skill power. I'm not really spec'd into electronics. So with a vigorous chest piece, yes, you're getting the overshield with your heal whenever you pop it, but you're not really going to get that much out of it because once again, you don't have that much skill power. So in my mind, Barrett's chest piece is a bit better. You're getting the 10% skill power, which kind of helps out with your booster shot. It gives you a bit more healing. Also, you get the 5% damage increase, and you also get 10% increase to armor. So, it's really up to you if you want to use a vigorous chest piece and get the overshield anytime you go in a gunfight. Then, it's understandable, but in my mind, this is a little bit better, especially when you pop your booster shot. You also get the 5% damage, and you're going to be melting. You're going to be doing so much damage that, it's a bit better in my mind. Moving down, for the mask, I'm using a refreshed mask with stamina, skill power, and burn resistance. The one thing I did a little bit different here is I'm actually using skill power instead of critical hit chance. Honestly, the reason I did that is because I do want a bit more self-healing out of my booster shot, If you guys don't care about that, if you guys want to use critical hit chance, get a bit more weapon damage, then it's really up to you. You can go into critical hit chance, it's the 4%, so once again, it's really up to you and kind of your playstyle. Moving down, for the knee pads, we're using shortbow knee pads for the faster grenade kind of explosions, and what I'm using is firearms, health, shock resistance, burn resistance, and damage leads. And then again, we have those mods I went over earlier. The one thing is, I really like using the shortbows, especially for something like Last Stand, since the amount of people there are, and so many times you get into gunfights where there's like 2 or 3 people kind of shooting at you. Those shortbow knee pads really come in handy. You can chuck a grenade or a shock grenade, anything like that, and kind of get out of the situations, or even kill those people and, you know, just survive a 1v3 or a 1v2. For the backpack, we're using a specialized backpack with stamina, health, and bleed resistance. And then once again, this adds 200% of firearms and stamina to your skill power. For the gloves, you guys want to use the Skull MC gloves, and what I'm using on them is stamina, SMG damage, skill haste, and critical hit damage. And obviously this is your main source of damage with the increase of 16% damage for your weapon. If you don't have these gloves on your character, don't even bother making this build. It's going to be really bad if you use Savage gloves and pretty much have everything the same. You need Skull MC gloves in order for this build to work and do at least some damage in PvP. And last but not least, for the holster, I'm using a normal tactician holster with skill haste on this. The reason I'm using this is because it does have skill haste, and then again, all my kind of attributes are maxed out at 1401. So yeah, this is my high-end / exotic build in patch 1.8.3. As I said, in my opinion, this is a very underrated build right now. Also, if you guys have any other builds that you think are very underrated, let me know in the comment section below. I'm kind of curious to what you guys have to say. Also, before I forget, I do want to show you guys the character stats really quickly. So for the weapon damage, I'm sitting at 23.4k, 32% critical hit chance, 113% critical hit damage, 61% headshot damage. That's not really that important. Max health, I'm sitting at 340,000, which is pretty good. And then last but not least, for the skill haste, I'm sitting at 40%, which is maxed out, unless you use a tactician build and, you know, get the extra skill haste from tactician. Last but not least, for the abilities, I'm using a booster shot, which I get back in 27.80 seconds, 82,000 self-healing, which is pretty nice. Once again, the skill power on the mask kind of helps me out with this. And then the immune station, I get it back in 20 seconds, which is very, very good. And once again, I can just kind of spam this, kind of put it down, wait a little bit, pop it, get my health back, and you know, I get it back in 20 seconds, which is very, very good. For the talents, I'm using Adrenaline, Critical Save, Strike Back, and Precision. Since I'm not using a Pulse, I'm using Precision for the extra critical hit chance, critical hit damage, which is always important. So yeah, this is my build. Once again, if you guys want to try out something a little bit different for PvP, if you're tired of using the Nomad, Defense, Pred meta, and you just want to try this out, let me know how you like it. I know this was a very, very good build back in the day, but right now, I think people kind of forgot about this. People don't really use this anymore. So try it out. Let me know how you think about it. I'm curious to see what you guys have to say. So yeah, that's it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe for more videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one.